Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. We got some things we have got to get into. I got a lot of questions. There's a lot of mucky muck going on here. Y'all, look, I just have to say this, okay? This has become an absolute circus. It's become absolutely messy and has become an absolute mess. Let me just say that really quick. Okay? It has been insane. That is without question. All right? Now, we got some things we have got to get into. There's a lot to break down. There's been a lot that has been happening over the last few days. I feel compelled to talk to you guys about it. I feel like it would be not right, especially since I've been talking about this at nauseum quite a bit. There's just been stuff going on left and right. Every 5 seconds, something's been going on. So we have got to talk about all of this and then some. So do me a solid, okay? First and foremost, before we get into everything, hit that like button down below, crush a do it a do, hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, I'm on all them mugs. So make sure you are hitting that follow button, that reaction button, of course, but hit that follow button as well, please, and thank you. Don't forget to subscribe here on my YouTube channel. Subscribe right here on my YouTube channel, okay? It's a very simple ask. Just do that. That would be amazing, all right? Also, go check out my other channels, The Pascal Show Clips, Pascal Raw. Go and subscribe to those channels as well. That would be greatly appreciated. Hit that notification bell, set it to all on all those platforms so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because honestly, it's random, okay? Or it's breaking news, or whenever I have time to jump in here and give you guys some conversations, okay? Soon in the future, there'll be a scheduled show from this point on type of situation, but we have not made that decision just yet. So please make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and all that. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Support the channel if you can. Check out my Patreon, and of course, check out PascalMerch.com. Check that out, please, and thank you. PascalMerch.com. Go check it out. Got some really great stuff over there, PascalMerch.com. Okay, we gotta go into this conversation. Okay, we got a lot to talk about. This is absolutely insane, and I think it's absolute trash. Well, one, it is an absolute cluster F, okay? It has been very, very, let's just say, it has been very sloppy, okay? We're going to take a word out of Attorney Tony Busby's mouth from yesterday, okay? This has gotten extremely sloppy. And if you don't know what I'm talking about this whole situation that's been going on with Candace Owens and TPUSA. Yeah, it's been absolutely murky, weird, questionable, suspicious, okay? And maybe possibly diabolical. Let me explain. Very, very long story short. Candace Owens, if you've been living under a rock and have not been following this whole situation, Candace Owens for several weeks now it's pretty much months now, if you really think about it. It's been months, y'all. She's been out here, okay? She's been busy. She's been doing her thing. And her thing could either be she's onto something, or it could be her just spinning off this planet with wild and crazy conspiracy theories. So here's the thing. Her best friend is Charlie Kirk. They're fairly close. He loses his life in the most tragic unbelievable kind of ways. Of course, we have somebody who has been caught, has been arrested, Tyler Robinson. There's a lot of questions revolving around that guy and if that guy actually is the one who actually pulled the trigger. A lot of people are thinking that that is a fugazi, that this is a red herring, that this guy is being used as a scapegoat because he kind of checks the boxes in a way, right? I guess he was not out, but he was, homosexual, having a relationship with a trans furry individual, named Lance Twiggs, just to be exact. Feds come out with all this information with a lot of holes in it. It made no sense. Let's be real. The text messages alone just didn't make any sense. There was so much information even before he was caught that didn't make any sense. Like Cash Patel going out here, going online saying, we've got the guy. And then they say, the feds going, cops going, actually, we don't have the guy. That was the wrong dude. That was just a bad actor, just a fake mother lover out here just saying, I did it. Arrest me, please. Arrest me. Take me. Just take my life. Which made no sense. No earthly sense. You realize that there's information. There were moments that led to the catching of Tyler Robinson that make no earthly sense, and that they've never really fully explained those situations at all whatsoever. You understand that, right? As soon as Charlie Kirk lost his life, when they were going and getting these people, from the first person, the second person, all the way to the point where they caught Tyler Robinson, none of it truly makes sense. Just a quick trip down memory lane. You had who I called the overweight Larry David. He's out there saying, oh, it's me. As soon as Charlie Kirk's body hits the ground, he's like, oh, it was me, right? So then he gets arrested. And everyone's like, screw you, hang him. Everybody's losing their minds, right? Understandably, you're right there seeing this whole situation. Somebody you highly appreciate, love, etc., loses their life right in front of you. The whole world saw that for the most part. And this guy's sitting there going, I did it, right? So they arrest him. They bring him in. Cash Patel is quick to get onto his social media and go, yep, that's what we did. We did it. We got the guy. We got the culprit. We got the evildoer. Only to find out that that wasn't the guy at all. He was just lying. It was a red herring, a fugazi. That's the word we've been saying as of lately. That's the word phrase of the season. Okay, a fugazi. All right. But then they found another guy down the street, which apparently he had an airsoft rifle in his hands, but he got arrested too. He was walking around with an airsoft rifle. He ain't doing no damage with that airsoft rifle. Let's keep it a bean. He ain't doing not a damn mother-loving thing with that thing, okay? Except like shooting out Coke cans. You know what I'm saying? But he got arrested too. And everyone's like, oh yeah, the police and them, FBI, all that. We got him again. We got the culprit. Nope, they didn't. But then they got Tyler Robinson eventually, right? Which, by the way, they didn't even get him. Allegedly, he actually turned himself in, okay? We already heard that the mom actually was able to ID him from the photos that the police put out. She said, oh, doesn't that look like Ty? Husby, come here. Look at that screen. Does that not look like our son, Ty? Now, I know that shirt and that outfit from anywhere. They go up to Tyler. He's like, no, I didn't. No, I had nothing to do with it. But then after much conversation, he said, yeah, he deserved to die. And I hope he burns in hell, which makes no sense. But then a pastor, former cop, goes over and convinces him into turning himself in. Well, then he allegedly turns himself in, right? But what's very interesting about this timeline is that they do not have footage. There's no body cam footage, no security cam footage of Tyler Robinson actually turning himself in, y'all. It makes no sense. It makes no mother-loving sense. You don't have not even the precinct security cams, which are on at all times, surrounding and on inside. You don't even have that. Not even a quick little 5-second video of him just walking in, and police meeting him in the front door, okay? Or in the front meeting area of the precinct. You don't even have that footage. That makes no sense. And let's not talk about the Chat GPT Tyler Perry script that they used as text messages between Lance Twiggs, his furry lover, and Tyler Robinson, which there was a whole lot of exposition in that script. Too much exposition, not a whole lot of action, if you ask me. It was very strange. So now, with a very brief breakdown of what's been going on, you can understand why the people beyond Candace Owens are all asking the same damn questions, or a variety of different questions revolving around how Charlie Kirk actually lost his life. There are questions about, is this an outside, maybe a foreign entity that was involved in this situation? Could they have had Tyler Robinson pull the trigger for a foreign entity, even a domestic entity, which she talks about in various ways? Okay, so with all that being said, hold on, because there's a little bit of explanation that we have got to get into, but I feel weird saying all this without having at least a photo of at least Candy O in the chat. You know what I mean? Right here. Okay, so after all this, in comes Candace Owens with all of her questions, and rightfully so. I don't blame her for asking questions. That's the thing I don't have a problem with. I don't have a problem with her asking questions. She should be asking questions. We all should be asking questions, because they didn't give us a whole lot of information. They really didn't. How Charlie Kirk lost his life was weird. Okay? How Charlie Kirk lost his life was strange. The timeline that led up to his demise, strange. When media asked, hey, can we get some paperwork from UVU? They get the paperwork from UVU, but there's a very important question that's not even on, it's been redacted from the information that they gave to the media. Here's one. Here's the one thing that was redacted. They asked if TPUSA needs outside help as far as security. Do they need to have local PD help secure the area for Charlie Kirk and work in close proximity or alongside TPUSA's security? Remember all that? They redacted that question. So the media went back and said, hey, excuse me, UVU, hi, how you doing? So you took this question out. Why? It's a mandatory question that you give to every other person. Why did you redact this here? Oh, it would interfere with the trial that's about to happen for Tyler Robinson, etc. Does that make any bloody sense? Why not just put it out there? Did they check the box yes, or did they check the box no? Make that make sense. Like I said, a lot of questions keep on popping off and keep on brewing, because how everything leading up to his demise and everything after his demise has been strange. And I get it. I get why the likes of Candace Owens is going out here, going scorched freaking earth, y'all, about this. Like I said, I have no problem with her asking questions. Ain't nothing wrong with her asking questions. But one thing is for sure, at this point now, in my personal opinion, okay, she is throwing everything against the wall and trying to see what sticks. Everything. Okay, here it is. It's not like I know Candace Owens personally, okay? I've seen, a bunch of her videos, a bunch of her shows and all that. Okay, especially when it comes to this whole Charlie Kirk situation now bleeding into TPUSA now. I have been listening to a lot of the stuff, and I got to be honest, I don't know what her vetting process is. When she gets information, does she just read it and just automatically believe it? I don't know. But one thing is for sure, she's putting out a lot of allegations out there against France, against Israel, and against TPUSA. And this is where TPUSA gets involved. But I think the only reason why they started to jump into this mug was because she went online. I got to pull this up. I forgot. I forgot to pull this up. But this is where it all started. To me, when the people started to speak out, when TPUSA started to speak out, it's when she put out a tweet that was very something. It's something. It's something indeed. Let me just get this. Hold on. I thought I had it, and I didn't. I don't have it. So I want to pull it up. And I did this as a video, standalone video that I think if you don't know about it, you definitely need to go check it out. Okay. But one thing is for sure. She put up this 4 days ago. All right. She put up this tweet. I received information last night that put the final pieces together for me. Let's not forget, I'm sorry. Quick little recap. Okay. Not only did she find out a whole bunch of information about TPUSA, but then there was also information that she found from apparently a person working within the French government, working closely with the Macrons, that the Macrons had put a hit out on her head. Okay. Like a $1.5 million hit on her head, which, by the way, that's not a whole lot of money for taking somebody out. I expected a little bit more, to be real. You know how the economy be economying, you know what I'm saying? I just figured it would be a whole lot more money. You feel me? No disrespect to Candace Owens, but 1.5, I mean, with how these streets are, I expected a whole lot more. Okay, but still 1.5, and there were two people that were supposed to take over to do that job. A female and a male assassin. Okay. So she had all that information as well, which is very, very interesting. And again, what was the vetting process like for that particular person that was putting out that information? Because that's very, very serious claims. Those are very, very serious claims. You must take it seriously no matter what. But the fact that it was made by somebody that she says was properly vetted, and she did the research to find out that person is truly who they say they are. Again, I'm going, okay. You know what I'm saying? All right. You got to take it seriously. But at the same time, what's the vetting process? I digress. Let's get back to this. This is literally the shot that started this all with TPUSA. Well, let me just say this. This is the moment when they said, damn it, fine, we're going to talk. And you want to know why? I'll explain here in a second. I received information last night that put the final pieces together for me. I now can say with full confidence that I believe Charlie Kirk was betrayed by the leadership of TPUSA and some of the very people who eulogized him on stage. Serious stuff. And of course, instantly you go, some of the people, well, there were a lot of Turning Point USA producers, some people who claimed to be his best friends and all that stuff. You also had Erica Kirk up there as well. Let's not forget John Cena. The fireworks and everything, right? Remember all that? And she said, I forgive him. And everyone lost their minds, right? In the arena. That actually happened. No jokes. That really happened. John Cena. Right? Pyrotechnics for a memorial service. Yeah. Moving on. Oh, and they raised a crap ton of money during that memorial service at the same time. Just so you know. Buckets of money. Oh, and they were selling the hell, and they're still continuing to sell the hell out of that freedom shirt, by the way, too. Oh, and by the way, did you know that Charlie Kirk has a new book that just came out? Yeah. He's got a new book that just came out. Interesting, right? Okay, moving on. She says, yes, I will be naming names and providing evidence for my claims. And I am making a personal plea to every well-meaning person who donated to this godforsaken organization to request a refund. This is the moment where they got mad. This was Turning Point's turning point. Get it? Yeah, sorry. I had to. Moving on. You were lied to. And leadership knew. Right? Now, this is crazy, right? Very serious claim to put out here for everyone to see, right? Now, Candace Owens, man, definitely shiver me timbers, okay? When you are literally going after TPUSA's own booty, okay? Like pirates booty, not like they ass, okay? But like pirates booty, that you're going after their loot. Of course, they're going to make a statement, right? So they made a statement a while back, which we already reacted to, okay? But I want to pull that up for you guys so you guys can see that, the last bit of it as well, because honestly, this is insane. Okay? Pretty crazy stuff. I'm only playing a bit of this near the end because I need you guys, because I've already covered this ad nauseum, but this is just a quick recap so you see what I'm talking about. Okay? They finally address the elephant, the big fat ass elephant that's been in this room for months that she's been making. Let's be real. She's the only one that has been pushing all these questions, and everyone's like, oh yeah, she got a good point on that and about that. So what's up with that, bro? And everybody wants to know what's going on. But TPUSA has not said anything at all whatsoever. Here's a small clip. I'm going to we're going to bookend it. We're going to do the very beginning of this at the very end, just so you guys can get the gist of it. Let's go.
We wanted to use this segment at the top of this hour to say something important, something very important. For the past 2.5 months, there is a topic that has flooded our Freedom inbox. It has been nonstop on social media, but which we have almost totally avoided on this show. You probably already know what I'm talking about, which shows just how ubiquitous it has been. Ever since Charlie's murder, Candace Owens has leveled a flood of allegations against people at Turning Point USA, people at Turning Point Action, and people who work for this show. She's made them against some of Charlie's closest friends and against some of his most dedicated employees. She has suggested that Michael McCoy, Charlie's chief of staff, knew Charlie would be murdered, was happy that he died, and stayed silent because he was told he would be the next Charlie. She has suggested Michael is not his real name. It is. I have seen his birth certificate myself. She has called it suspicious that Mikey's wife, who works at Turning Point, helped plan the campus tour event where Charlie was murdered.
Now, there's a whole lot more. We've already seen this. I've already covered it. Please go check out that video, okay? But I do want to show the last part of this, because I think this is where everything kind of goes haywire.
Candace has mentioned several times that the ball is in our court. So here's what is going to happen. In the near future, there will be a live stream here in Phoenix where we address in a clear and comprehensive way the claims and accusations, the false accusations that have been made against Charlie's family, friends, and the people here at Turning Point.
Very important information right here, that they said that they are going to be conducting a live show where they're going to address everything that Candace Owens has put out here. all the questions, all the allegations, accusations, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call it. The wild conspiracy theories, they are going to confirm or debunk all of that in a live show. That is very important information to remember.
We plan to walk through everything carefully and thoroughly. If Candace is available, we would sincerely welcome her participation in that live stream at our studio here in Phoenix.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to play the video, okay? But she said after they put this video out, or, after they did the live, she reacted to that. And she said, hell yeah, let's go. Tell me the time and place. I'm in there like swimwear, okay? I'm in it. I'm down. Just tell me when, tell me where, and I'm with it 110%, okay? She said, in fact, you guys can, which was obviously a dig, but she said, in fact, you guys can fundraise all you want. You guys can ask for money all you want throughout the entire show. I don't care. I just want to be here so we can get some clarity and understanding of what really went down. And you can answer all of these questions that I have about Charlie Kirk and your possible connection to this whole thing. Remember, she was claiming, or she was, what's the word? She was giving the idea, she was implying that TPUSA has something to do with of Charlie Kirk, that they have some sort of connection with it. Let's not forget her claims about Netanyahu, like I said, France, Israel, all that stuff. All those things being in connection to the possible unaliving of Charlie Kirk. And for a fact they're grifting so hard. I'm sorry, I got to say it. I am sorry, but they are grifting hard for Charlie Kirk. Not grifting hard for Charlie Kirk. Sorry, they're grifting hard with the Charlie Kirk passing. That's exactly what they've been doing, okay? Let's keep it a complete bean here, all right? Anybody can see that. They're sitting there going, oh, now, first it was the T-shirts. Or actually before the T-shirts, all right, it was please keep donating, keep giving to our organization, be a part of the movement. Let's not forget, I'm sorry, but we got to call it out. Charlie Kirk, not Charlie Kirk, but Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica Kirk, remember, she made a statement maybe 2 days after he lost his life, right? After he tragically lost his life. She was in his studio and she was still sitting there going, we're still going strong. We're not stopping. Please continue donating. Keep giving, keep giving, keep giving. That's what she was saying in that thing, in that whole first statement that she ever made, right? And I get it. Don't get me wrong. To lose a spouse in this type of way is tragic and absolutely heart-wrenching. But at the same time, and yes, I give her mad props for getting out there on a microphone and speaking out. But at the same time, I could see why some people were side-eyeing the whole thing going, wait, that's kind of weird. That's weird. 3 days after, he gone. Erica Kirk is up there asking all these, asking for money, basically saying we ain't done. We're going to be stronger and bigger than we've ever been. Then there was the memorial service. John Cena, WWE pyrotechnics and everything. Throughout the entire memorial service, which was several hours, they were asking people for money, and people did. Because, of course, people cared. People care about what happened. And the grift was going hard. T-shirts were being sold at that time because it was the last shirt that he was wearing before he lost his life. Okay? It was the last shirt he wore when he lost his life. I'm sorry. That freedom shirt, everybody and their mom was buying that shirt. They were pushing for that. Now, he got a book. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that he wasn't working on penning a book at that time, but at the same time, ain't that interesting? Now he got a book. The grift is going hard. It's going hard out here in these streets. The grift it's very real. And the only reason why I say these things now is because as soon as she said, do not give them any more money. In fact, ask for a refund. They are jumping on this and saying, okay, enough is enough. Now we're going to speak out. Now we're going to do a live stream and we're going to do this and we're going to talk about it. We're going to do it live. We're going to do it live, right? So then she says, yes, I'm with it 100%. This is all I've ever wanted, okay? All I've ever wanted is the truth. Give me the truth. Give all of us the truth. Was there something more going on here or no? Right? So Blake, the guy who was making that statement, okay, Balake, all right, he came out with a statement here as well after all this. So it says, the live stream we announced on the show Wednesday has been set at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 p.m. local time on Monday. So because they live in Arizona, or the show is stationed in Arizona, just so you know. So 2 p.m. local standard time, or local time, I'm sorry, on Monday, December 15th. So not this coming Monday, the following Monday, okay? A collection of Charlie Kirk's friends will respond to statements made by Candace Owens to set the record straight once and for all prior to the opening of America Fest. Okay. We'll be live streaming from Charlie's Phoenix studio. Our offer from yesterday holds. If Candace wishes to join us in person in Phoenix, she is welcome to do so. She can let us know by the end of the day. First off, hold up. They say we posted this on X. And what's interesting is she retweeted this and she's like, thanks so much for letting me know what was going on without even actually sending me an email. Shoot, not even a text message, nothing. You just put it up on X and just expect me to respond through here. I think that's jacked up too. I agree with that. I think that is absolutely messed up. Okay. She literally is like, wait, that makes no sense. You're saying you put out that information on X, but you don't bother to send me anything. And then on top of that, they're saying, hey, you have 24 hours to respond. Take a look at this. Take a look at this. She says it right here. Kind of weird how you didn't email or call me to ask about times or availability and chose to instead tweet this confirmation out at mother loving midnight. You know, she got kids. You know, she's asleep by midnight, or at least trying to put one of the kids back in bed, or maybe changing the diaper at midnight. She ain't looking at her phone. She trying to sleep. Sleep is so precious now. Hey, all y'all parents out there, y'all can relate. Sleep is so precious. Okay? When you can get it, you take it. Let's be real. So, why am I learning about this on X? I'd like to know that too. You see, like, let me just keep it a bean with y'all, okay? Real quick. Wouldn't we all, it doesn't matter if you're on the side of like, man, Candy O done lost her damn marbles, or TPUSA, they ain't nothing, and I don't like Charlie Kirk, or whatever the hell it is, right? Whatever the side you're on, where you're thinking like she's on to something, or you think she has completely lost her mind, right? You still want to know what's going on. And you still can't deny that these actions here are sus as fuck. It's sus. Their actions here are weird. Why would they do that? You realize that the people that are sitting there going like, TPUSA hasn't done anything. You got, leave Britney alone, right? Leave TPUSA alone. But then they do something like this, and that same person's like, why are they doing that? Now you look weird. Now you look sus. Now you look like you're trying to hide something. That's not good, y'all. Real talk. December 15th does not work in person. And 2 p.m. Pacific is also literal time. Is also the literal time that I do my podcast live every day, which you knew. But we will happily cancel the daily podcast and we'll join you guys virtually instead for the live stream on the 15th, if that works on your end. Let's lock it in. Now, here's the thing. And I understand that there has been a lot of pushback, but you look at this timeline here. Look at this timeline. This looks suspicious as hell because they're not willing. I want to throw this in here. They're not willing to do the live stream with her going in virtually. Yeah, y'all. So as much as they're like, we're going to do this live, we're going to expose all the information. If you're willing to be here, we'll invite you here and be a part of the whole conversation. She's like, bet. I can't be there physically because December 15th, by the way, is also her husband's birthday. It's also her husband's birthday. And apparently, allegedly, they have family coming into town from overseas to spend his birthday with them. So, of course, she can't just fly out to Phoenix for something like this at the last minute like this. What's wrong with her doing it virtually? Now, here's the thing. I do want to share with you guys something that came from Nick Fuentes before we continue. And I don't think I've ever played any Nick Fuentes on the show. I'm just going to say this really quick. I am not a fan. Okay. I think that's kind of obvious. All right. I am not a fan of Nick Fuentes. I thought I had it up here, but I'm just going to pull it up. I'm not a fan. Really not a fan. But he went in on her. And the thing is there are things that he's saying here that I do agree with, but there's only two things that I agree with. That's it. That's it. Everything else, he's just talking out of his ass, in my personal opinion. By the way, world, okay, fam, this is Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes, fam. Here's the thing. He's a racist, anti-Semite, a funny mustache lover, okay? Funny mustache guy lover, all right? He is the worst of the worst. And now he is like basically taking over the Charlie Kirk position, which is the worst in my personal opinion. All right. I do not agree with what he says. He is not I don't think he's a good vibe, but people listen to him because there's a lot of angry racists out there in the world. Sorry, not sorry. Okay. If you're suddenly surprised that I don't like racists, okay. I don't know what's wrong with you. Okay. Flip the channel. Okay. But this guy's not the kind of guy that should have a microphone, in my personal opinion. But he said some things. There's two things that I agree with. All right. We're going to pause on that part when we get to it. Let's take a listen.
Turning Point says they're going to do a live stream. They're going to answer all the questions about Charlie Kirk. They invite her to show up. She says, challenge accepted. Name the time, name the place. We don't need to plan it out. Let's just do it. They say, okay, December 15th. She goes, oh, but that's a bad day for me. I can't do it then. Can I Skype in? Can I Zoom? Bitch. We can't. What are we doing here? And I said it on Telegram. You actually just have to admire the audacity. This woman has gone in every single day for 3 months, and she has dragged everybody, and like every country, the wife, the friends, the company, the government, the FBI, Israel, France, Egypt. She's dragged everybody through this, whatever you want to call it, this investigation. It's served up to her on a silver platter. All right, uncle, we give up. We're losing to disinformation and mass hysteria. The open society is failing. Mass psychosis has taken hold over the nation. Fine. We'll do a live stream. We'll justify why we didn't kill our boss. And you can ask us anything you want. Just show up. And she goes, I can't that day. Honestly, what else do you have going on? This is your job. You're a YouTuber. She acts like she's a wagey, like, oh, I got to check with my boss. This is your job. This has been your obsession and crusade for 3 months. Literally, what could you have going on?
Husband's birthday, family coming in, those things could be a factor. But let's continue. We're going to get to the point where I agree with what he's saying.
And I see some people already defending. They say, well, you'd understand if you had kids, it's Christmas time. Okay, I think you get a special dispensation. First of all, it's the 15th. People are working and going to school right up until Christmas Eve sometimes. It's 10 days before Christmas, okay? Second of all, I think her family would understand. Her whole family's dragged. I think her family would understand. Maybe we could reschedule the family Christmas party to the 17th, the 19th. Go and do what you got to do. People will defend anything, I guess. But then it gets better. She says, well, I'm not going to go to Phoenix in person. I'll live stream their live stream. So you're too busy to go in person, but you're not busy enough to live stream the event from your house? Does that even make sense to anybody?
It does make sense to me, because it means that she can literally go live for an hour from her home and then go back to whatever she's doing, the festivities, the blah, 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 right? It doesn't matter. All she needs to do is just turn on a computer and a camera and say, hello, I'm here with you guys. And that's it. And then she can go off to her life. So I don't see a problem with this. But there is a part that I do understand what he's saying here. This is the part that I'm like, okay, I agree with this right here.
You can't cancel your show talking about Charlie Kirk's death to go to Turning Point to ask them about Charlie Kirk's death because you're too busy doing your show. This is why crazy bitches, they make the whole world crazy. They make you sound crazy.
That's not the part that I agree with. Hold on. There's a part that he says later. Hold on. That's not the part I agree with. Okay. Yeah, she is definitely unique. Okay. But hold on.
A lot of men too, sadly. Here it is. She gets invited to go to Turning Point. Isn't this this is the end game? Okay, you won. Go and ask them. You're leading the investigation. Charlie told me in a dream that he was set up and betrayed. I'm going to take the charge, blah, blah. They invite her to come and do the show. She goes, oh, I can't. And immediately people say, well, she's got kids. Well, it's Christmas. That's not it. Well, what?
Okay, so there's a part that I thought that I had, when he's talking about this, and he makes a solid point about how, you get the general idea with that his rant right there, okay, which is like, this is BS. I don't agree with this, all that. But there's a clip that I've had before that I lost, where he basically is saying in that same one. Okay, he basically says, well, this is absolute BS. The reason why she doesn't want to do it in person is because she wants to make sure that she still has that producer in her ear, giving her facts, giving her, being able to have access to AI, to Google, to X, all that stuff, so that they can keep feeding her stuff while she's on the show with these guys. That is the only part. Well, two parts, two different moments that I agree with. The one is, yes, we need to get this over with. They need to have this conversation so that we can literally, so that the world can just see what happens, bury the hatchet, and be done with this situation once and for all. But then there's the other part where, yeah, I could see how she could literally have her producer, Skylar, I guess is their name, in her ear while she is trying to do that show. I understand that part. That is a part that I do truly understand. Okay. Everything else, nah, I don't agree with. Like, you can just make her completely, just have her not be patched in to the producer of her show, right? I can see that happening, but I still think that if she's absolutely wrong, if she's still completely inaccurate, or they're able to debunk all the things that she says, She is going to literally crash and burn in real time, no matter what facts are being pumped in her ear by her producer. It doesn't matter. If they have solid evidence going, there's no proof of us doing anything sinister and having anything connected to Charlie Kirk's demise. There's no way, because she could still sit there and go, but they're going to sit there and go, no, here are the facts. Here's the hard evidence. You're seeing it on the screen. We're showing it to you guys. Proof positive that we have nothing to do with this. Candace Owens will look like Boo Boo the Fool in real time. Real talk. But like I said, the fact that they said no to her, and that, by the way, they're going to continue the process, they're going to continue the show without her on the 15th, is so jacked up. Do you understand how messed up that is? They truly are messing this up. They're looking like absolute freaking fools. They're full of ish. They're absolutely full of ish. Sorry. They're full of schnish, guys. Here's an opportunity to say what needs to be said, right? And they say, nope. See, I don't agree with Nick Fuentes, okay? I don't think I really agree with anything he says, period. But at the same time, there's one moment, right, where I agree with. Okay, I can see that, understand. I can see that moment where you can be concerned, right? You can be very, very concerned about that part. Her getting information pumped in her ear by her producer, okay? And having a crutch throughout the live. Okay, fine. But that doesn't change that doesn't change facts. That doesn't change evidence. Just because she could sit there and have them spout out, I don't know, her producers spout out to her like statistics and stuff, that still doesn't change the evidence that TPUSA has about having no involvement in the unaliving of Charlie Kirk. Do you understand that? So, yeah, I get that point. I can see that concern, but that shouldn't stop them from actually having her on live. Remember, see how they did it? What they did was real shiesty too. It wasn't like they said, we reached out to her, we talked to her producers, our people talked to her people, we get all set up, we got it all set up, and then at the last minute, out of nowhere, she's like, nope, I can't make it. It's not that. They literally sent out a tweet online. Instead of sending her an email, according to her, to set things up, they went online and they said, you have 24 hours. This message will self-destruct in 24 hours. You have 24 hours to respond whether or not you're going to make it. And she says, I can't make that. It's my husband's birthday. It's the holiday time. Can we reschedule? Can we pick another day? In fact, let me join virtually. She's not trying to run away from the situation. She's trying to be there. That's the way I see it. You look at the timeline, you look at what's going on. This clearly, to me, shows that she's trying to be there. She is doing her damnedest to be there. This is not her trying to dodge this. She's trying to be there. And also, wouldn't TPUSA want to have her on? Do you realize the numbers, the ratings, the viewership would be out of this world for them? And all the while, they could sit there and go, you know, Charlie Kirk lost his life and we just need your money. They could do that easily. Buy his new book. By the way, he's got a new book. You know? Buy his book. They could throw in commercials all day long because you know for a fact it's going to be a huge, huge event. But no, they said, nope. Nope, y'all. We're still doing the show, but she can't make it. Which makes no sense. Now, there is something here I want to show you guys here, okay? So she, of course, is willing to be on this show, all right? But she also says that she wants Erica Kirk, because I know some of you guys are saying in the chat, like, Erica Kirk and Candace need to have a little powwow. And yeah, I agree with that for sure. They really, really do. But she does say here in this video how, of course, she's willing to be there. And she wants Erica Kirk present at that conversation. I don't see this as a debate. I see this as a conversation. But let's go. Because again, this can't be a thing of like, yeah, you guys did that. No, we didn't. You know what I'm saying? This ain't a debate. Whether it's either they did have some sort of connection with Charlie Kirk losing his life, or they didn't. This is not a debate about, I don't know, immigration, policies and gun control or smortion. Okay. It has nothing to do with those things. Okay. It's whether they did it or they didn't. That's it. This is not a debate. This is a discussion.
That's how it's supposed to work. If that's ever in the history ever of people setting up debates, that's ever been how it's worked. That someone just arbitrarily picks a time and a place, and you admit you had no time and you did not have a date picked. So there's no reason you couldn't come to me and say, here's 2 dates that could work, and allowed me to do that. And by the way, I would still like for you guys to do that. Okay. And one more thing that I want to put out there, because your 24-hour demand is ridiculous. It's silly. Okay, let's strip it. Let's not pretend that there's some buzzard that got hit. We can still make this work, and I would like to make this work, and I would especially like to make this work if you are saying or implying that Erica Kirk is going to be there. Because the reality is that would be a game changer. I think that's a game changer. I think it would be very powerful to have her there to represent the viewpoints in a way that they're maybe not being shared by Blake Neff, who is incredibly unlikable and speaks down to people. And I don't know why he does that. It's not coming across clearly from your spokesperson, Andrew Colvat, who seems to be on the road and isn't course correcting in the attitudes that are coming out, or at least telling people not to be like late night tweeting like Tyler Boyer. And yeah, it would be great if you are saying that on the 15th, Erica Kirk, as you are insinuating that she's going to be there, right? She's directing this thing. Are you implying here that she's going to actually be in the chair and she's willing to allow me to bring things and to go over timelines and stuff? Like, can you make that offer through the proper channels? Can you actually say that, since you now have more details about how it's going to work, and reopen that offer again? There is no way in hell that George can make the 15th work. I just said it. No, he shut it down immediately, and for a very valid reason. And it is not my inclination to go to Phoenix without having my team with me. And
I don't blame her for not wanting to go there without her team. Okay, listen, I don't see this as demands. I feel like this is just normal information. Again, you got somebody who's sitting there saying like, hey, I have no problem sitting down and talking to you guys. I'm just trying to make this work. But I do have some things that I want to have there, so I feel comfortable. You got to understand, she's walking into basically enemy lines. She's crossing enemy lines, right? Clearly, which is wild because, it almost feels like this is the company that made Candace Owens. If you really think about it, like Brexit and all that stuff, this is the company that actually made Candace Owens. And now she is turning her back on the hand that actually fed her for a while before she left TPUSA, left that organization, all right, to go over to the Daily Wire, and then, of course, left the Daily Wire to go solo dolo on her own. So she's had, she's definitely, isn't that interesting? If you know that timeline, that's actually the timeline, right? She started Blexit with all them, and then she left, went to Daily Wire, did her thing over there with Daily Wire. Then crazy stuff happened there too. She left, and now she's riding solo dolo. She's just doing her own thing, and now she has one of the biggest podcasts out there, right? So this is very interesting that the hand that fed her, the hand or the company that actually cultivated her, groomed her into what she is today, is the same company, an organization that she is throwing under the bus right now. So do you really think she'd want to walk in cross enemy lines right now? I don't blame her for wanting to make sure that she got her team with her. Shoot, I would want people with me too if I was walking into, you know what I mean? You going into a whole other jurisdiction, a whole other, you going to, it's like a Crip going into a Bloods like turf. You want to make sure you got your crew with you just in case to protect yourself and all of that, right? So again, all I'm saying is that's just insane, okay? And so I understand her wanting to have a few things, not sitting here saying that she's scared for her life, but I feel like she doesn't want to walk in getting ambushed, right? So I don't blame her, right? I just don't. I don't blame her for having these a few caveats. And these aren't even big caveats. It's also the thing, hey, can we just do this another day? Can it be another day? Does it have to be the 15th? Can we do another day? And it's wild to me, in my personal opinion, it is kind of insane for them to go and say, we're going to still do this show without the person who actually is the one who's asking all the questions. Doesn't that look or sound at least a little suspect to you? That seems suspect to me. And I am not wearing my Candace Owens hat. Okay, I don't have my tinfoil hat on. That's just common sense. Looking at it, it's like, yo, that's weird, y'all. That's weird. You guys want to poll? I'll get to the poll here, okay? But that's weird, okay? Now, I'm not riding no crazy train. It's called common sense, y'all. There is no crazy train on this. None. I'm talking about the timeline and what is going down. The timeline itself is weird. They could easily just turn on a computer and have her do this thing virtually. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's all they need to do. This is not crazy. The crazy stuff is the wild and out of this world stuff is the things that she has been saying, okay? Which could very well be true or could very well be fake. Could be just conspiracy theories because everybody has their conspiracy theories revolving around Charlie Kirk's demise. Let's be real, okay? We don't have any confirmation of anything. So when she comes out and says, oh, yeah, they the ones who did this. Take all your money back, y'all. They betrayed Charlie Kirk. Yeah. And they're sitting there saying, we're going to give you an opportunity to air it all out in this one show. Then it's like, hey, we're giving you this day. She says, I can't make it that particular day. Of all days, that particular day I can't make. Can we do another day? And they're like, nope, can't do it. Nope, we're still going to do it on the 15th, though. You got to look at both sides of the fence here. Take the conspiracy theories out for us to the side for a second and just look at it. Yes, Tyler, this is an absolute mother-loving mess. And they can make this situation easy just by sitting there saying, sure, you want a video chat? Cool. Come on in video chat. We good. Come on in. That's totally fine. If you want to do that, that's totally fine. They have the technology for it. In fact, we're going to be seeing a video here in just a second where you got Andrew Colvett and Blake Neff on a show. One of them's actually video chatting on the show. So again, you know what I mean? It just, unless it's like she upsets her husband for his birthday and just hightails it out to Arizona to do that interview and then just hightails back that same day. That's possible too, but the way that these planes are maneuvering right now, as of late, I don't know about all that. Okay? So I don't understand why they can't maneuver the date a little bit. It's like, okay, can they do the 16th or something like that? Can they do the 14th? Can they do any other day? You know what I'm saying? Any other day except for that day. I understand it. I do. But the fact that they're going, we're going to do it whether you're here or not is wild. They should reschedule. That's just my personal opinion. Okay, that's not crazy. That's just common sense. If you want that person in there to talk and get the truth. And here's the other thing. This would be an ample time to make her look like a fool. Do you realize? Think about this for a second. before we continue with this video, think about this for a second. Do you realize that TPUSA has an opportunity to turn this around to benefit them? Hear me out. If they had her in person or if they did it virtually, she is going to be on the show. Thousands, hundreds of thousands, if not practically millions of people will be watching that show. It's a massive opportunity for their platform to get a huge uptick and take some of her viewers if they are telling the truth. If she has just been coming out with nothing but wild conspiracies and they're able to debunk them live and make her look like Boo Boo the Fool, you don't think all those viewers and all those people that have been listening to her for several weeks, if not months, aren't going to sit there and go, oh, damn, she crazy. TPUSA, you were right, and I'm so sorry. We back to you. We loyal. We will buy that T-shirt. We will buy that book that just got written. We'll listen to everything that Erica Kirk has to say from this point on. We were so sorry. Candace Owens, who? Candy O, who? I don't know who she is. She gone. You made her look like a fool. Do you understand? This is an opportunity for them to get all these new listeners, to destroy her in real time with facts and evidence and get all those listeners. Think about that for a second. And yet they still are sitting there going, nah, we good. We still going to do it with or without her. Sorry, we aren't willing to give you that virtual video thing. That's ridiculous. See, this is why people are looking at this and going, wait a second. Are they trying to hide something? Because now they look like they are full of ish. You understand what I'm saying? This is an ample time for them to make her look like a damn fool with her pants on the ground. But nope. They say, no, we're still going to do it with or without you. That's dumb. Unless they have something to hide. But let's hear the rest of this real quick.
My husband is very much a part of my team. But I will say that I will raise it further with the Supreme Court of George Farber. If you are insinuating, and actually if you can confirm that you are saying that you will allow me, as you said further in this, to bring whatever it is, because it would be more authentic if it was face-to-face. If you're saying that I don't have to deal with you, and this is actually going to be very open, and I can ask every question under the sun, I might beg, I might beg. So I would love to hear from Turning Point USA and stop pretending 24 hours was some demand that had to be met, because that's ridiculous. So ball very much back into your court. And like I said, I want to make this happen. I still think you guys can open it up for a live stream. You're doing that right now. That seems ridiculous as well. Let's make this work for the people.
And I agree. Make this mother lover work for everyone, okay? Because everybody and their mama wants to know what's going on. Everybody and their mama wants to know what's going on. Now, what's interesting, I need to share this with y'all. And while I show this to you guys, I'll put up a poll, okay? But I want you guys to see this. This is Turning Point USA having a conversation. And guess what? One of them is doing a video chat. One of them is on virtually. One's in Arizona. The other one is somewhere else doing the show from remotely somewhere else. See, they're already doing this in real time. They're already doing this right now as we speak, yet they won't do that for Candace Owens, which makes no bloody sense. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. Okay? It doesn't make any bloody sense. It just doesn't. But here's their explanation on why they're not willing to do it virtually with Candace Owens. And you tell me if this makes any sense.
And she's saying she can't attend in person. Can she attend on a live stream, or, and you guys do live streams all the time. And is that going to be an option?
Of course, Gina.
I'm just trying to make this come together.
Of course, Gina. So first of all, our initial statement, it was on the show on Wednesday. I made it at the request of Erica. All of this has been at the direction and approval of Erica because she heads this. And so what we were announcing there is we said she has said things that are not true, and we did not address them for a long time. We stated the reasons why, that we thought a lot of them were just not, how to put it, we initially just thought no one would believe a lot of what was being said. And we also just, we remembered the same friendship that Charlie had, and we just hoped that this would go away without requiring any sort of direct statement or confrontation from us. So what was approved is we announced we are going to respond to this. And what I said was, we are going to announce a date soon. We actually hadn't agreed on it at the time I read the statement. We're going to announce a date where we're going to respond to this. And once we announce it, Candace is free to attend in person. That is what we announced. And so once we agreed on a time, I announced what the time was going to be. Candace, for her part, had said, you name the time, you name the place. That is what we did. As for why it was put out at that time, I would just say, I don't think she had any difficulty in finding out what our scheduled time was. It seems everyone found it out quite quickly. And lastly, on the point of why it's in person, I think it's pretty intuitive that given what is being said, the way this has worked is that it's critical to be in person if you want to be authentic and to be detailed. And that is what we think is a fair request to make if she's going to participate. But regardless, it is going to go forward because we have agreed that some response needs to be made. And so that's going to happen when we announced it on December 15th.
I'm going to roll that back a little bit because you just need to hear that BS one more time. I just think this is BS. Like, he's struggling to even answer the question, right? And I don't think that this is him keeping it real or keeping it a bean, in my personal opinion. Take a listen.
I announced what the time was going to be. Candace, for her part, had said, you name the time, you name the place. That is what we did. As for why it was put out at that time, I would just say, I don't think she had any difficulty in finding out what our scheduled time was. It seems everyone found it out quite quickly. And lastly, on the point of why it's in person, I think it's pretty intuitive that given what is being said, the way this has worked is that it's critical to be in person if you want to be authentic and to be detailed. And that is what we think is a fair request to make if she's going to participate. But regardless, it is going to go forward because we have agreed that some response needs to be made. And
okay. Huh? Huh? So you say the only reason you need her there personally because it's just the right thing to do, right? It just would make more sense to have her in person for this whole thing. Okay. All right. So then reschedule. That's it. Reschedule for another day. If it has to happen after Christmas time, then so be it. But you want to know what it is? I'm going to say it. They're worried about money. Yes. They're worried about that moolah, that cash, them greenbacks, them dead presidents, baby, that moolah. That's what they're worried about. They're not worried about actually having a conversation with her. Because if it really was about having a conversation with her, which, by the way, was confirmed or, agreed to and greenlit by the CEO of Turning Point USA, which is who? Yeah, Erica Kirk. It would be very important to have her on the show to talk about all this stuff, regardless if this is in person or not. She said out loud, I can't get there physically, but I can be there virtually. I could do it via internet. No problem. I'm very happy to be on the show. You let me know if that works for you. And what happened? They said, oh, nope, that's not going to work for us. But because she laid the groundwork in that one tweet earlier, she said, hey, y'all, if you're supporting, funding TPUSA, take your money back. Take all your money back. This is literally the reason why Everybody has already heard the millions of allegations. TPUSA, let's just say, has heard a million different allegations about TPUSA being in some sort of connection to Charlie Kirk's demise. They've already heard it in various ways. It's not only just Candace Owens that has said that, by the way. Other people have said that out loud on the internet as well. The reason why they are tripping right now, in my personal opinion, okay, is because they're worried about that money. They're worried about being able to raise that money, continue having millions and millions of people, the smaller donors continue to keep tithing, if you will, into TPUSA. That's the only reason why they're worried about this. That's the reason why they're doing this. That they're going to continue doing their episode where they debunk everything without Candace Owens, because they need to get it out there as soon as possible, because if they don't get it out there as soon as possible, they lose more funding from their small donors. You understand that? It's more than just the millions, hundreds of millions of dollars that they're getting from the likes of other entities, a higher, very well-to-do entities. Like, you know, she mentioned people like DuPont and of course, other possible foreign entities as well. Okay. They're not only getting money from small donors out here in these streets, they're getting big money from other people, but they still need that foundation. Because if you really think about it, the money that they're getting from the bigger people, okay, billionaires, millionaires, whatever you want to call them, sure, that's good money and it's giving them stuff, but you also got to remember the money that they're getting from small donors, from the people who listen to their show every single day, is absolutely important as well. It's not just YouTube clicks and views. It's the people that are actually going to their sites, like their own version of a Patreon, that are paying monthly to listen to what they have to say about what's going on in the world politically, or what's just going on in general in the world. If they were to lose that base, then they're losing their base. That's big. That's huge. That base is their foundation. And then all the other stuff is just that's the sprinkles and the whipped cream on top of this very, very multi-million-dollar sundae that they have put together over the past several years. So if they lose their foundation, they ain't got no sundae to eat out of. This is a very big deal. So this is the reason why they're willing and going forward and putting out this show with or without her. That's why. Because as soon as she said that, which, by the way, again, she went on to her ex and she posted that. And then she even went on to her show saying all these things as well. Biggest podcast right now. One of the biggest podcasts right now. Okay? Millions of people are listening to her. Millions of those people also support TPUSA. And if they believe her more than they believe TPUSA, what do you think is going to happen? All those people are going to be calling up, or they're going to just turn off they're going to remove their credit cards and their debit cards and stop paying TPUSA. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of these people already called in being like, I just want my money back because I don't believe y'all. What Candace Owens said, she was on point with that. And y'all acting weird. Y'all acting really strange out here in these streets. So we want our money back. You never know, baby. This is the reason why they're desperately, quickly frantically trying to get to that next Monday where they can debunk everything in the best way that they can so that they can save the money. That's it. It's about the money, guys. It's about the money. If they really cared about clarifying things for the sake of all the people that have all these questions revolving around this tragedy, they would be like, sure, Can you do this coming Friday? Can you do the 17th then? In fact, let's make this work. Let's hit you up. Let's talk about it via emails and let's figure out schedule a time. That's it. That's it. But they're not doing that. Again, they're going, we're going to do it no matter what. We're doing this live, whether you like us doing it or not. I don't care. That's bad. That's really, really sad, though, guys. Really, really sad, because this is not how it's supposed to be. Okay? This is really, really bad. But
28, and it's
okay. And then, of course, I do want to share with you guys. Okay, Tim Pool. I don't know if you know who Tim Pool is, but he's a political commentator, all that stuff. Okay, he has been going off, like he's been crashing out. All right, straight up crashing out over Candace Owens. He is losing his doggone mind about Candace Owens. And my question to that situation, okay, my question is, why is he putting himself in the conversation? He's pulling himself into the group chat. You realize that, right? He is literally trying to put himself into the group chat. Why? For views? Because politically, things are not looking so good for MAGA commentators, which has been a thing. People have been talking about that ad nauseum lately, that people are really starting to stray, walk away from the MAGA movement for various reasons. In fact, let me just pull this up before we look at the Tim Pool video. Okay. But she even said it here. This is Candace Owens saying this. And remember, she's got a very, very, very powerful podcast right now. And she said something that I think a lot of people started to look at too and said, she got a point. Take a listen.
Think you're going to infiltrate and convince us that this is the same party while we get gaslit about everything that's happening. Like I said, you lost the party. MAGA got fractured, not when Tucker Carlson interviewed Nick Fuentes, but when Donald Trump looked at us in our faces and said, Epstein who? That's when it was game over. Because Israel first is a cancer cell. It is a cancer cell, left or right, to everything and everyone that wants to play around with it. It is a radical psychosis that has manifested itself within both parties. And it is so radical that, in case you missed it, yesterday, they started attacking Brett Cooper. Brett Cooper, 23-year-old, bubbly Brett Cooper. She makes the majority of her videos dedicated to pop culture. Yes, she covers things that are, I would say, mainstream politics, nothing too daring, never speaks about Israel. And she did her part, by the way. Zionists wanted her to do her part and encouraged New Yorkers to get out and vote against Mamdani. But it's not enough, of course, because this is a radical ideology. You give them 100%. You even say one critique, and they don't want to break bread with you. They want to destroy you. And that's what they want to do to Brett Cooper.
Now, again, obviously, when it comes to the MAGA movement and everything that's been going on, there's been a lot of things that have been going on. Okay. It has been bad. And yes, I agree. If you're not saying all the talking points, if you're not thinking for yourself, I agree. Like, literally, I agree with what she's saying here. I know. Surprise, surprise. Okay. Like I said, broken clock. Okay. But again, there are certain things that within the MAGA movement, if you're not saying the specific talking points, if you even just think for yourself outside of some of these talking points, then suddenly you ain't MAGA. But the other part is that, yeah, things got destroyed. MAGA started to implode from the inside out. Okay. Because of the files, calling people dumb, and all that, right? It's been very, very bad. I agree with it. And that, I think, is one of the reasons why political, like MAGA commentators, if you notice, things are starting to shift in the MAGA movement world. All of the people who are sitting there, not all, but you see some of them, they're starting to think for themselves now. Okay. They're finally starting to think for themselves now. I'm just going to say that. Okay. They are. And when it comes to stuff like Epstein, all this other stuff that's been going on, them dropping bombs on boats, by the way, that stuff is messed up and wrong. They already hit, apparently they hit like a couple more last night, if I'm correct. More boats. Why? And again, there's no proof right now if those boats are actually carrying substances, guys. I just want to make that abundantly clear. All right. There's no proof of that. So they're just flying over these boats and they're like, oh, another one. Boom, like that. And that's it. They're not questioning anything. They're not looking into anything. Those guys could be fishermen. Those guys could be anybody. Right. And they're dropping bombs harder than Hiroshima. Now, here's the thing. All right. Things like that are starting to make the MAGA movement start to dissipate, start to fall apart. Maybe there is a MAGA fatigue going on. I don't know. All right. But that is one thing for sure. And the likes of Tim Pool, he is starting to feel that too. He's starting to feel that hit. And one thing that is interesting is that the likes of Candace Owens is getting a lot of hits. She's getting a lot of views. She's getting a lot of people tuning into her stuff. Why? Because she unplugged from the Matrix, guys. She unplugged from the MAGA Matrix. But there are still people out here that are holding on to the MAGA movement because it is their bread and butter. I feel like that is the one person is Tim Pool. And he has gone scorched earth. He is so mad about her talking about this whole Charlie Kirk thing. And she basically him saying this is one big grift, that it's like, well, maybe this is her grift. I don't know. Right. We'll find out if they ever have that discussion with TPUSA. But I do want to share this with y'all because she's reacting to this. And I thought this was interesting. Tim Pool's just crashing out straight up. Like over the last few days I've been watching Tim Pool lately. Okay, his show live, and he's just been crashing the out. Real talk. Take a look.
28, and it's because she's a piece of shit. Because instead of saying, guys, let's come together and figure out how to work together, she says the stupidest, retarded crap. And now everybody's running around divided and broken.
He said the R word.
For what reason? For literally what reason?
Because they killed Charlie Kirk in broad daylight, and we don't care about your stupid midterms. We just don't care. Like, they really, this is how they view Charlie Kirk. That's what I say. Was anything in his life real? Tim Pool is going off right now because he's like, it's not the time. You guys need to be mules. You need to keep voting in the very corrupt people that are lying to your faces right now about what happened to Charlie Kirk. It is not the time because it is your job to get people into office. This is what I mean when I suggest that nothing in Charlie Kirk's life was real. So he really thinks he's doing something there. And actually what he's doing is proving my point. These people just saw Charlie as a means to an end, okay? As a political horse that they could ride. And so for whatever reason, they got tired riding him. And now they're angry because they also were going to whip the horse, the ghost of Charlie Kirk, and say, we still need you to shore up votes. And it is inconvenient that people who actually cared about Charlie and saw him as a, I don't know, human being, want to know why he was publicly executed in front of us and why we're being lied to about everything. That is why Tim Pool is upset, because midterms, it's going to be my fault, not the fault of the feds for feeding us BS. It's not going to be the fault of Turning Point USA for lying and thinking that they're brighter than us and seemingly not caring about the investigation. It's not going to be the fault of, I don't know, maybe actual politicians like Donald Trump, who's the president of the United States, and look us in the face and said, are we still talking about the Epstein files? No, that's not his fault. The fault is Candace Owens for wanting to figure out who murdered her friend. Don't you guys get it? Like, we're just an algorithm. Why do you care so much about humans? Like, why are you a human? Like, if somebody in your family dies, you need to focus on midterms.
First off, like I said before, I don't agree with Candace Owens very, very often. But like I said, broken clock. She ain't wrong with what she's saying. Very beginning, right out the gate, because people care about what actually happened to Charlie Kirk. People care about what actually happened with those Epstein files, given the fact that they lied to us in the very beginning. And now they're saying, oh, yeah, they real. Okay, that we care about what's going on with the booming of these boats out in Venezuela and in other parts of the ocean as well. They're just dropping booms on everybody out there at this point, okay? We give a damn about these things. And that's just a small snippet of what we give a damn about. Yeah, we don't give a damn about no midterms if everybody's lying to our faces. Like I said, is there some sort of fatigue going on? No, I ain't talking white fatigue. I ain't talking black fatigue. Okay, none of that. I'm talking about political fatigue. Forget MAGA. Okay, forget Democrat, forget liberal, forget conservative, forget all of that. Okay, forget all of that. Republican, forget all that. Fatigue. Because all we're getting is nothing but BS over and over and over again. I agree with that part so much. And he's getting angry because they're sitting there having conversations about midterm elections. And everyone's like, we don't really give a damn about that right now. Everybody's too busy. We're still trying to sift through the gaslighting and all the lies that have been fed to us over and over and over again. We all see this. That's the reason why we don't give a damn. And this is the other thing, too. Is this a situation where what happened to Marjorie Taylor Greene? Could that be what happened here, too? Yeah, I'm actually saying Marjorie Taylor Greene's name right now. That's how crazy and how upside down we are. We are literally in the upside down right now. Okay? Running up that hill. Okay? We are in the upside down right now. What the hell is going on? And where the hell is 11 at? Okay, so she can use her telekinetic powers to get us out this situation. Get us out of this situation and get away from these damn demogorgons or whatever they're called. Demon dogs, whatever the freak it is. We are in the upside down. I agree with that 110% because all we're doing, okay, is getting lied to left and right, left and right, left and right. And it's being done by the left and right, left and right, left and right. I got bars today, guys. Okay, at some point, we all got to wake up and be like, I'm tired of this and I can't take it no more. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. And the only reason why Tim pulls in his fifis, at least is from what I'm seeing, okay, is because maybe not as many people are tuning into that because they're not interested in that. They want truth. They want transparency. And there's a lot of fake news that's coming out of the White House right now as we speak, y'all. Let's talk about this boat thing for 2 seconds. All right. They dropped bombs on these boats. They double tapped on one of them. And I'm sure they're probably still doing that right now as we speak. Okay. But this particular boat, that boat got hit, right? They dropped a bomb on it. Then when they came back 48 minutes later, okay, came back 48 minutes later and they found two people, they don't know if they're men or women, hanging on to the debris of this boat. When the government, when the Pentagon caught this stuff, when a bipartisan approach came, meaning both Republicans and Democrats approached Pete Hegseth, they said, we want the footage. And what you did here is a war crime. And we aren't in war. So what they did is murder. But we'll talk about that in a second. Pete Hegseth said, oh, we don't have any footage. And no, it was in the fog. First, he said, we don't have the footage. We don't know what you're talking about, when there clearly was footage. Then later, when they actually found out that there was footage, he says, no. It was in the fog of war, meaning it was so crazy. There was so much debris. We didn't know if they were trying to shoot back up at the planes at us or not, which was not true at all either. 3 different lies that happened from one administration on one specific moment in time where a crime was committed. Was not a war crime, guys. It was murder. We don't know who those people were. We don't even know if those people were actually moving weight on those damn boats. They don't even know if those people were actually going towards America. They say now there's footage or information where it shows that that boat was not even heading towards America, guys. Then they're like, oh, they're radioing in. They went back to the boat to radio in to try to get reinforcements to help them gather this stuff up so they can keep going towards America to drop off all this yayo that is laced with Fenty that's killing our American people. Only to find out that they weren't radioing anybody. The boat was blown to smithereens. This is all information that has just been trickling out over the last couple days. I'm not kidding. Go look it up. It's insane. And that's just one boat. That is one specific moment in time that we're talking about. I haven't even talked about Epstein files. I haven't even talked about the copious of other things that have been happening as of late. It has been very, very bad. Very bad. You really think the people out here, us, listeners and consumers and whatnot, are really giving a damn about midterms when everything is going belly up right now as we speak? That we have literally an administration that is, their lies aren't doing very well for themselves. We are seeing them lie in real time and getting caught almost 5 seconds later in real time. We're not finding out about these lies being revealed 2, 3, 4, 5 years later. We're finding out a day later. It's bad, y'all. Okay, it's bad. And this is the reason why conservative commentators, their views are maybe not, they're not getting as good of views like they're used to, because people are getting tired. People are getting tired and people just want the truth. And they feel like most people, especially with this Charlie Kirk situation and the Epstein files, they feel like they have been lied to countless times. And people are tired of it. So of course, people are not listening to commentators talk about Trump did it again. It's like, are you sure he did it again? I need more proof. Just saying. I'm just saying. So again, he's angry for whatever reason, because people are just not interested in the stuff anymore. Not right now. Not right now. When everything is literally, if you are MAGA or if you are, on the left, whatever, it all has to be within the confines of what the structure of what a liberal is, or what the structure of what a MAGA person is. And we're starting to see people starting to branch out of that. They're starting to think for themselves, finally, and actually say their real true opinions about certain situations. And how things have been as of late, with all the lies that are continually getting exposed left and right, I don't blame these people starting to venture off and figure things out for themselves. We are living in some wild times. I'm going to end this poll, though. So out of 292 votes, okay, you guys say, I asked, do you think TPUSA is in the wrong? And you guys said, yeah, that they are out of pocket. 87% of y'all said they're out of pocket. I agree. I think they're absolutely out of freaking pocket. Bernice, thank you so much for being a member for over 13 months, over a year. Damn, thank you so much. Hi, Pascal. Happy holidays. Hope all is well. Everything's great. Everything's groovy, baby. You know what I mean? I love it. I love this time of year. It keeps me happy, especially with all the stuff that is going on, all this mucky muck as of late. We need reasons to smile. That tree makes me smile. My family makes me smile. It's good to be alive. So thank you so much. Happy holidays to you too. The Pattern Files. Thank you so much for the love. Has anyone heard of the Israeli company Cellbrite? I've heard of Cellbrite, but didn't know that they were from Israel. I just made a video because no one talks about the amount of blackmail where we are exposed to. I'm going to have to look that up. Okay. Thank you so much for letting us know. Chugi. Is that Chugi? Hopefully I'm saying that right. Wow. The only one full of it is, sorry, Candace. Disappointed your take, but oh well. Opinion are like butts. Everyone has one. Some just stink mores. Well, here's the thing. I think, and of course, obviously, everything's polarizing out here, right? When it comes to this situation, you are entitled to your opinion. I know some people are not going to, agree with where I stand. I just think that they could reschedule. It is as simple as that. If they reschedule, I think there would be no problem. But the fact that they're saying, nope, it's either the 15th or not, I think that's kind of trash. But you're entitled to your opinion. I appreciate letting me know about buttholes, okay, and how some of them stink mores. Thank you so much for that info. Because you're right, buttholes do stink. Moving on. Raymond, thank you so much for the love. Begging for donations, yet Charlie's house is $6 million and his net worth is $12 million. So they sell some stuff. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I get it. It's a business. They got to get things moving, right? They got to keep the business rolling. There's nothing wrong with asking for funds. But the fact that the face of that company is gone, and you can see now, it's almost at the point where they're about to sell his bathwater. I'm sorry. It's going to be at that point, like holy water, like Creflo Dollar or something like that is out there selling holy water. Come and get your holy water blessed specifically, exclusively by Pastor Creflo Dollar. You know what I'm saying? Remember that dude? Okay. Dude was sitting there asking for a brand new private jet so he can go out there and spread the word of Jesus. Yeah. He didn't want no used private jet. He wanted a brand new private jet for his mission to spread the word. Yeah. So again, it's almost at that point. They were selling T-shirts. Now they got a book that was allegedly written by him, I guess. It's just interesting. It's just interesting. But again, plenty of organizations, plenty of YouTubers do the same doggone thing, right? But they're alive. That's all. This is just, you could see it from space that the grift is definitely real. And I feel like I wouldn't feel this way if they were willing to actually just have the conversation with Candace, virtually or in person, on a day that works for her as well. I think that is fair. Okay. I know some of y'all don't agree with that, but I feel like that is fair. That's just me. Moving on. Beautiful Messy Ball. Thank you so much for the love. Blake Neff is a documented racist too. Ooh, I didn't know that. Oh, not surprised, really. I mean, honestly, I'm not that surprised, but thank you so much, Messy. I appreciate it. Medusa, thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. Thank you to all the super chats. I appreciate it. Okay. Alice, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Okay. And everybody who just became a member, welcome to the family. But also, please do me a favor. Okay. Allie just gave you some love. Pay it forward. Okay. By simply opening the door for somebody. I'm saying not here. When you go out into the world, do something positive. And it's just the smallest thing. It literally, it's the minor little niceties that keep people moving, right? That keep that positivity rolling in people's minds and that energy out there in the world. And we need that more than ever right now. I'm just going to be real. We need that more than ever right now. Stacy B, thank you so much for the love again. Thank you so very much. Love you, Pascal. Love you too. Thank you. Love. Thank you so much. TP made it clear they weren't doing this for Candace, but for their audience. And it was on her to show up. I see that point. TP deserves to face their accuser while she has to look them in the eye. I think that too. If it were my BFF, I'd be there. Now, I see what you're saying. I see that. But I think that what she's saying is like, hey, there are certain obstacles that I can't make on that specific day. It's just that specific day. In fact, I would say, hey, TPUSA, go ahead and do your show. Go do it on the 15th, but then schedule with me. So then I see what you've planted, I see what you've presented on the 15th, and then we can actually have a sit down and talk. And I can actually fly out there in due time not on the day of my husband's birthday, not when we have all this stuff that's planned for that particular day. We can meet in person. We can sit down. We can go live and do all that as well. I think that would be fair. Again, she is not sitting here saying that she does not want to do this conversation. She wants to. That's the thing. I think that's the one thing that we all need to remember. She is desperately trying to make this thing happen, right? So again, I say reschedule with her and call it a damn day. And I agree. I understand. TPUSA said that they were going to do this. They were going to do this whether she was going to be there or not, right? And that she was more than welcome to be there if she wants to be there, right? But I don't think it's a situation where they can go, we're just going to have this conversation once and for all. And once we say what we say is scripture and we move on. No, you got somebody out here that's going to react to that whole show. She'll do a whole live feed reacting to all the talking points and rebuttaling and demanding more questions or demanding more answers to more questions after what they present. Wouldn't it just be better if they got in the same room and just hashed it out and just be done, right? But I digress. I see your point, though. TPUSA did say we're going to do this. She's more than welcome to join, right? But now that she is very adamant about making it happen, it'd be really nice if they could just reschedule or schedule a time where she could be there as well. I just think that's fair. Moving on, Stacey B, again, thank you so much. Pascal, can I ask why you think Candace deserves answers? Why her? We don't know what Erica and TP are doing in private. That's also very true as well, Stacey B. I don't think, okay, I think the questions that she put out here, okay, the reason why I think that she deserves answers is because they actually answered to those, they actually responded or reacted to her saying, we demand answers. And what they just said is, okay, you guys are asking all these questions. Candace Owens has been asking all these questions. We are going to answer these things. So then instantly it's like, okay, because she's the one asking these questions, they're finally starting to answer, or they're going to answer those questions. You see what I'm saying? So a part of me is like, okay, she's the one who started this. She should be in the room to end it, right? Because here's the thing. If that's the case, then they should have already done that at the time that they addressed the nation, the world, about them going to address the world about these allegations. Do you see what I'm saying? So in my mind, it's like, okay, if you're going to schedule a time, be great to have the person who actually started it all to end it, right? At least that's what I think, right? But again, she doesn't have to, he doesn't, TPUSA has every right to not have her there. That is their decision. If that's what they want to do, by all means. But I'm telling you right now, it would be the worst choice in the world. It'd be the worst choice to do that, y'all. Bad move. Because you know for a fact, they're going to come out with stuff. She's going to respond with her receipts on a separate show, and it's just going to start all over again. Do you understand that? It's going to start all freaking over again, okay? And we just want it to be done once and for all. Because I believe that this is a very important conversation that we all deserve to know, not just Candace, all of us. Because if there's things that have been hidden from all of us, and that's actually true, then let's see them show the proof or debunk those things, right? Benita, thank you so much for the love and being a member for almost 2 years. Woo! Happy holidays to everyone. Yes, happy holidays to you and everybody else out there as well. So again, guys, I got a lot of questions just like everybody else. I can see both sides of the situation, okay? Like, I see both sides. I can see why, TPUSA should just go ahead and do it without her. Doesn't even matter, right? But then there's the other side where we all have a lot of questions that have not been answered, even by the FBI, okay, that we want more clarity and more facts about. It'd be a lot better if they could just work something out where they all can be in the same room together. I just think that it would be the best choice and the best move when it comes to this whole situation. Because again, she's not going to stop talking, guys. At the end of the day, whether you like her or not, she's not going to stop talking. So if you want to have her stop talking, bring her on the show and just have the conversation, right? And just be done with it. Reschedule. It takes 2 seconds to reschedule. You know for a fact, if you're looking for viewership and new eyeballs on your show and on your platform, you bringing her onto the show would be a very big move. So I don't see how this would not benefit them in the long run. So just reschedule the damn thing. It does not have to be this serious. But if they decide to not reschedule with her, that is only going to say something and send a message out to the people who are side-eyeing TPUSA, and that's not what you want right now. More and more people are going to not support you financially because they're going to find that as a reason why. You see what I'm saying? They're painting themselves in a corner that they don't want to paint themselves into. Anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. Oh, let me get this super chat here really quick. Gypsy, thank you so much for the love. If they refuse to change the date, it's completely unacceptable to refuse her offer virtually. Okay. Shutting it down altogether is not transparent and looks very bad for TPUSA. Exactly what I just said a second ago. It's completely unacceptable, right? I think it's wrong. She says she's down. What are they scared of, y'all? Like I said, to me, it feels like they're kind of full of ish. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for that comment. And it's a very strong comment. Good point. Okay. Just reschedule. Damn. All right. But anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Please do me a favor, okay? Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do it a do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, please do me a favor and hit that follow button. Subscribe here on my main channel, please and thank you. That would be amazing. All right? Go and check out my other 2 channels, The Pascal Show Clips and Pascal Raw. Subscribe to those channels. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. Go check it out. And, of course, as this theater continues to play, and if there's new updates, I'll be giving you guys those updates as well very soon, okay? But anyway, it's time to get going. Much love to you guys. Stay safe out there. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.